This is That One Audition with Alyshia Ochse. Now knowing that you went to school with Justine, I want to know how you got to school because you listened to hers and you heard about the snowstorm.
Love it.
I want to hear about the whole audition process for you getting in. And was this always the goal? Were you always, okay, acting, where do we crystallize this into being like, okay, I'm going to actually go for this?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Korea. So America was a very foreign land to me.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be an actor. I started dancing. I wanted to do ballet. And then my mom was like, I don't think you can do ballet. You don't have the body type. Which she was so right.
Okay.
She was like, you
I
like
was like, I'm only seeing you from here up and you look
yeah.
very petite.
It's more, I think she just knew like my lifestyle and I think she knew that ballet was a very rigid, scheduled life. And she knew that I wouldn't necessarily thrive in that environment. And she was completely right. She knew I loved it. But so basically, I transitioned into musical theater, but then I realized there's so many good singers out there, and I'm just never gonna.
You don't feel like the voice is there?
I've done like musical theater movies and stuff.
I was just, yes.
So I can hold a tune, but doing 8 shows a week, 8, 9 shows, I just don't think I would have had the vocal cord. Some people are just born with it, and I just didn't think I could compete with that.
So you're for the moving pictures instead. We took the movement of dance, the idea of a voice, put it into moving pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you guys come from Korea? When did you come to the States?
So my parents still live in Korea. So my whole family's in Korea. I came to the States like right before college. So I went to Interlochen, which is an art school in Michigan.
Yes.
It's a great school, but it was also like only one of the only schools that had a boarding school. Because my parents live in Korea and I was underage, I could have only gone to school in America if there was a boarding system.
Oh, okay. So you did
Yeah.
your research and you're like, that's the place to be able
Yeah.
to go. And
Yeah.
then once you finished Interlock, is that when you're like, okay, I'm gonna audition then for college, for Juilliard, yeah?
Yeah. I went to high school in Korea as well. I just went to a senior year of my high school in Interlaken. So I had a year there and they do that thing called Chicago Unified, which is like all the colleges come to Chicago and you can do most college auditions in this one hotel. They all have rooms and yeah, Juilliard was one of the schools. And actually, one of our teacher, Larry, went to Juilliard. I think he was like in one of the first class, and he was a great, great teacher. And he basically was like, "You should audition for Juilliard." That's what I did.
And do you have the same crazy experience that, like I said, Justine had, or so many other people I feel like put so much pressure on Juilliard? You coming from Korea, was it as much of a pressure situation as those that are in the States? Was that the goal, or did you have a little less pressure? And then sometimes that's the magic, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because pressure, as in, yes, I felt like I really wanted to get into a good school because I think my parents are so not in this field.
Mhm.
So, one of the biggest benefit, like, I think psychologically for me going to like a good drama program was that I could prove to my parents that I could do it. Juilliard is such a name that it was like the best of the best. So my parents definitely knew where Juilliard was, and they definitely knew it was a good drama program. So that was where the pressure came. But I also, English isn't my first language. So a lot of things were just like, whoop, like one ear in, one ear out. So I think in that sense, I was faking it a lot in the like I knew what
You
was
were acting for the acting program?
yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm like nodding and making shit up as I go. So there was less pressure in that way.
And did you still have all the different steps that Justine did, where you're going from like 30 to 16?
Yeah.
Is that where you guys land? Is it 16 or is it down to 12 or 8?
18. Eight,
18,
yes.
18.
18 classmates. I think callback where you fly into New York, like how Justine was in the snowstorm.
Mhm.
When you fly into New York, I think it's around, I want to say 40. I don't know if that's true or not, but they
Mhm.
really narrowed it down to 40. And yeah, and we just do a 2 day intensive like class audition process.
And as an actor who's acting to get in, what was your audition piece? Like, what were you relying on to be able to, you aced this, you did it.
I had this monologue that I did called, it was from a one-woman show called China Doll, and it was about the life of Anna May Wong, who's like one of the first Asian actors. I knew nothing about her. I just read from a monologue book and I was like, she's Asian.
Great.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll make something of this. I never read the play. Shouldn't say that, but never read the play.
I love hearing all the facts.
Had no idea what was going on. I was just like, you know what? I think I can make this funny.
So that was your ticket, was more of the humor route. Because look, you have a little bit of, you got some interlocking, you got some basis of foundational training behind you. So
Uh-huh.
the ticket was make this funny.
Yeah, I think so. I think
All
so.
right. So then once you get in, or we could even jump to post Juilliard, do you leave early?
No, I stayed. I did 4 years and graduated with my class.
Now, do you score a team right out of Juilliard at the showcase?
Yeah, I did score a team. It was weird because I was just talking about this with my castmate Meki, but it was an odd time because a lot of my classmates were really focused on get having the best team and obviously coming out of showcase. And for me, what kind of consumed my head for the next 4 years was how do I stay in the country?
Yeah, because did Juilliard gave you your kind of granted, do you get a visa during that time or kind of what works during that time?
Yeah, you have this thing called F1, which is like a student
Mhm.
visa. So Juilliard, obviously, because of school, I got that for 4 years. And then there's this thing called OPT, which means they give you a year to like work in the business that you studied in. But then after that, you have to apply for another visa. Like for actors or artists, it's a O1 visa. And that's really hard to get.
So how are you staying for 4 years? How are like what jobs are helping you stay or what workarounds are you doing to stay on a very small mic just between us? So for everybody else that's trying to stay and get a job, what did you
I
do?
It was just literally, I did anything and everything that was related to acting. Because during the OPT time, I don't know if I had booked a like actual network job during that. I think it might have been like I started like booking SAG jobs after I got an O1. Yeah, I think OPT just makes it very
Very
complicated.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you get an O1, I think I booked a job with NBC.
That's what I just was scrolling through, being like, what year did you graduate? So which one was it that grabbed you which one from NBC grabbed you
It was this show called Mysteries of Laura with Deborah Messing.
so Mysteries of Lars takes a chance and
Yeah.
then you get this. And then once you get the visa, do you have it for a certain amount of time?
I had it for 3 years.
Okay. Okay, then just for our audience that's listening. So then 2014 is when you get it. You have it for 3 years. I just like to put it together. Then you
Mhm.
get a nice little recur 2 years later. You never really stop working. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. We're like up, up. And then you get Freaky Friday. Does that and then are you trying to get a new visa at this point? What happens after the 3 years? Is there another project that has to scoop this up? We've never talked about this on mic out of like the 700 episodes. So I'm glad we're getting into it.
That's so surprising. I feel like
I
there's so
know.
many actors I know not only, I was, I think, one of the first Koreans who graduated from Juilliard with a Korean like citizenship.
Mhm.
And each country has a different, I think, not ultimately it's the same system, but like Korea, like we couldn't apply for the lottery system, the green card lottery system. That's not a thing. Whereas in like other countries, you can. So like
Mhm.
at Juilliard, they were like, apply every year, like if you can. And I think it was a little different for musicians too than actors. Like it's a different route, how you can prove like your worth. So that was like really, yeah, that was a tricky thing.
But after the 3 years, you did at least a dozen jobs, at least. So then are you able to prove, okay, I get to stay? Is that part of the process is to prove that I'm working so you can extend this visa?
Yeah, a lot of people I think normally extend the visa. I didn't. I applied for a green card. I there's this special green card called EB1 where it's like a special ability green card and you basically have to put a resume saying, "Hey, I should stay here and you should give me a green card because I have this skill set that makes me worthy basically." So worthy. I was
So
like,
worthy. How you're so worthy to stay.
when I got that, and the reason, not to be political, but one of the reasons I got it was because it was right before Trump was going to get elected. And he didn't get elected at the time, but he was running, and it was a very nerve-wracking time. And I thought, you know what? I think I need to apply for it now
Glad you did.
because I'm not, and people are like, it's going to be fine. It turned out rough.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did the process. Okay, then I want to ask specific questions according to pressure and like even thinking about, oh, I have to prove to stay here. Can we talk about any audition in that 3 years when you just are like, okay, I'm allowed to stay for 3 years. Now I have to like get a job, prove my worth. How are you auditioning or how are you getting your jobs at that time? Walk me through a process. Pick anyone. We got so many good ones. Even if you want to go to your first one, The Mysteries of Laura. But Austin and Ally is one thing. Shameless, I loved, but there's Freaky Friday. There's so many great things, even getting up to American Gods, which was right at the end of that 3 years.
Yeah,
Mystery.
I think at that point I had a green card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about auditioning when you're like, I don't know how this is going to work.
I was very desperate. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I
It
was,
adds a different layer of desperation. I think every actor, we're like, just let me have a job. And you're coming out of Juilliard, so you obviously have process. Or let me ask the tough question that I also asked Justine. Do you feel like Juilliard prepared you for the television and film world for getting the job? And of course, once you got a job, I know you know how to break it down, how to bring it to set. But did you feel prepared for the actual working business?
no. But I also, I think it just depends on the actor. But for me, I was not prepared because I think I also didn't really at the time care to do TV and film.
Wanted to do more musical, like we're still Broadway.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wanted to, not musical theater at that point, but my goal was to do theater on Broadway.
Yes.
That was, and another tricky thing with like equity and the green, like with the O1, you're not technically supposed to be able to go to equity. But yeah, so it's like a whole, I don't know how it changed because this was years ago, but like my first job was assistance in Philly, Wilma Theater when I graduated, and I was still on OPT. And I think the only reason I got my equity card because it was an equity show was because it was the LA office and they weren't 100% like as knowledgeable or they I'm sure they didn't have that many O1 or OPT like foreigners like applying for as much as New York
Mhm.
where it's really popping. So I was able to get it, but I remember like when I was going to the office, I was so nervous because I heard some of my other classmates before me having a lot of problem like booking the show fine, but then they couldn't really had a hard time getting approved for the show because they couldn't get their equity cards. Any job I booked on my O1, there was always a little scarcity of oh, I booked it. They're going to find out I have O1 and then they're going to not hire me anymore.
They're going to rescind it.
Yeah. And because I had a lot of scare like that, like
Yeah, rightfully.
yeah, and it sucks, but I also understand from like like the network's point of view or from because they just make it so difficult. It's not
Mhm.
the network's problem. It's really like the government, and they're probably really worried that they're going to get in trouble if
Mhm.
something doesn't like the word doesn't line up in my application. Like it one slip and it can be like bad for them, which
Yeah.
sucks that they make it that difficult.
Especially when things are just moving fast too, and it's okay, she's great, but this is like just it's just easy. We can get this done in a couple of days and we're going over here. So
Yeah.
how were you approaching auditions or how like what is your, especially back during that time, approach to the additional pressure other than just being an actor and going out and trying to get a job? I feel like people write in all the time and they're like, how are you dealing with that? Yeah, the pressure, the anxiety, the nervousness.
Yeah.
Do you have techniques? What did you do?
I honestly am surprised because now I'm in, hopefully, I think, but I think my attitude after I got my green card approved, like I also worked so much more, which was,
Yeah.
yeah, which was probably like a mental clarity for me. Like I was in a different place because I was a lot more calmer. Now I was like, I was still desperate because I'm an actor, obviously. I think it comes from now there was a calmness of okay, at least I can stay in the country. And if I book a job, I book the job. You
Yeah,
know?
there's no them taking it away from
Yeah.
you at that point.
Yeah.
But prior to that, because you were getting jobs and stuff, was there anything that was a ritualistic process, or what was your auditioning technique, especially since Juilliard is so character driven based and like building the character. And even if you're coming from theater, it's a director's medium. There, you're shaping the character together. You've got time and rehearsal. Whereas stepping into television and film, it's on you. There's no cultivation process. So, what was your kind of audition process prior to this alleviation of you being able to stay? Did you have a specific process that you were working with out of Juilliard?
I honestly, I the process I do really still do. One of the things for me is because it's my second language, I memorize the
Mhm.
script backwards and forwards.
Okay.
Like
Memorization first, yeah.
yeah, that is, I need to wake up in the middle of the night. I don't do this to this extent anymore, but I used to get so much anxiety that I was gonna sound Korean.
Yes.
So I think even at school, like I would wake up in the middle of the night and start like going through my scripts, like, and my roommates would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But I basically like really start memorizing. So if I get nervous in the room, if anything, it's mechanical. It will come out. So that way, when I come out of the room, I had no space to blame it on. It's because I'm Korean.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand as the second language, and then you're getting into a cadence, you're getting into a rhythm. How, since having so much experience now, choose any of these. Oh, you actually doesn't even have to be something that you booked. What is that one audition for you?
I think the one, if I have to pick the one edition that really changed my career, is probably the Cocaine Bear edition.
That's the one I wanted to
Yeah.
know. Okay, okay, okay. Can you walk? Okay, and for everybody that is listening, that was the first one where I was like, what happened? Okay, so this is 2023 is when it comes out. I'm assuming it's like 2022, 21 when you do the audition. So we're in COVID times, right? So this is a self-tape, I'm assuming, yes.
Yes.
And this is after you've done like great guest stars, like kind of reoccurrings here, reoccurrings there, a couple of great studio films. You did American Gods, but you're a solid like working actor. We can call you a working actor at this point. We can. You're doing the thing. You're getting hired annually. I always say if you're working annually, you're like in the 1%.
Woo, bless.
Bless.
Yeah.
So take us through. I want to even know when you got the script, what you made of it.
So Deborah Zane, who's an amazing casting director who cast me in American Gods. Uh-huh. And they sent, I don't know if they sent me the script. I knew the movie was being produced because it was like such a like a cocaine bear. Like people know that tale. And
Hmm.
there are many of people that were very excited that this movie was getting made. I was in a very particular place because I was shooting a movie on Fire Island. I was not particularly having the best time. I was breaking out in hives, so sick. I truly thought, I'm going to die here. It wasn't COVID. I wasn't having COVID or anything. It was just like, it was just not the best situation. And
On hours, them rewriting the script and what was interpersonal.
there's many things I can say off line that I
Understood.
can.
Understood. But also when you're in a pressurized situation where it's not going well, getting in an audition is the last thing I think that you want to, you're in survival mode. You're in
Yeah, I
survival mode.
was very much in survival mode. Also, I was coming out of a really terrible relationship.
That's when everybody books the best jobs. Isn't that?
Really?
Yes. I've interviewed probably 750 people, and I have to say, breakups really do service the arts really well.
Truly.
One thing, one
Yeah.
thing. Okay, so we're post American Gods. So Deb hired you probably 2018. It came out in 2019. So here we are, th 4 years later, 3 years later, and she sends you this
Yeah.
as your life is in a downward.
Yeah. But it was weird because it was like really nice to work because it was during COVID. So I can't say I was like so sad. I was just like, I'm the type of actor I'll do any acting job. Like I still have that mentality of sure, I'll do zero lines on and stand in the background as a tree. And my reps are always like, you need to not do that. Even my boyfriend is please read the script and say yes before you say yes to every job.
Uh,
So I have that, I still have that, oh, a job is a job, work is work kind of mentality. So I was I was having a hard time, but at the same time, I was like really happy to be around like other actors and I met great friends through the project. But I got the self tape and they had an option. I remember very clearly that they were like, if you want to talk, if you want to have a call and ask them if you have any questions.
uh-huh.
And it was offered to all the actors. That's why they're so amazing. It was so kind of them. They were like, call us. And my reps were like, you should talk to them. Because my first instinct was like, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to make it more complicated. But then I called them and it was like these two scenes and I asked them about it. I asked them if I could improv a little, what the tone of the movie is, because I don't think I had the script at the time. And I basically like I had one of my other castmates who was a friend of mine help me tape. And I did one very straight and one a little improv here and there. And I was like on this roll where I just wanted to be myself. At the time, I think there was a lot of things going on. So I was like, you know what? I am Korean and I'm going to own that I am Korean. And
Yes.
one of the skills I have is that I can speak Korean. And so there are things that I added here and there that I wanted to make it me.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be remiss not to ask this because also actors write in all the time and they're like, how do I talk to casting? Or if I get an offer, how do I talk to the cast or to the director specifically? So you asked if you could improv, you asked tonally. Was there anything else that you asked? And like, how long was the conversation? And what information did you really gain from it? Because I think that's just really helpful as a guidance point for actors, not to be like, hey, I'm just calling to say what's up, or I have specific questions. Can you address these? Is there anything else I need to know? Like how I really love that they did that for you.
It was amazing. It was truly like Deborah and Dylan, both of them, like even with American Gods when I was auditioning, they were just fantastic and really they're an actor's advocate. That changes everything. Obviously, it helps you do your best work. It wasn't like a long conversation, I don't think. I just had, it wasn't like crazy long sides. It was just like basically discovering there's a bear. And then having one of the other scenes was like having a little chit chat with my other ambulance driver, Scott.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So like that, like having a little kiki moment. And yeah, I just was like, oh, and then one of the things they did say was like, if you can do an accent, like a Southern accent, I think.
And is this where you just, okay, is this where you decided, fuck the Southern accent, I'm just gonna go with a Korean accent?
I didn't do an accent, but I added like the part where I kiki with my other EMT. Like at the end, I just had this thing where I spoke Korean and then he would play it like he understands what I'm saying. And that it was like a small little moment. It wasn't like anything.
Great, great.
But I just was like, I didn't want to do because it was also like not supposed to be, I think, tonally a caricature. So
Yes.
kind of movie because I think the caricature is that the bear is on cocaine.
100%.
So yeah, I just basically did that and yeah, and I sent it
Sent it in. And did you get booked right off tape?
I did.
Great.
When does that ever happen?
The TV and film landscape, it's constantly changing, but traditional actor training has largely remained the same.
It's focused on a theater model whose main goal is to help you stretch the expression of your instrument. That's why you can have years of training,
From scene study classes to audition classes.
to even an MFA, and still not be able to book a two-line co-star.
That's why we created the Bridge for Actors.
A collection of tech, craft, and business online courses to teach you the skills that you need to go from a student of acting
To a working actor.
So now we're in a different place. And I wanted to know about St. Denis Medical, if that was also a tape situation, because we live in a strange time.
Yeah.
Or did you get to go in? And I want to know the casting process from this, because this is this something that was turned from series or recur into series regular
Series regular from the start.
from the start. Okay. So this is our first reg, right? I didn't miss
This is my first reg, yes.
that goes to series, right?
Yeah.
So now I want to know, okay, you do Cocaine Bear. How was shooting that? How was the
Oh my God, amazing. It was
what
truly
did,
dream come true.
what'd you take away? You're working with some great people on this movie. What an interesting experience. You're also working with an incredible actress who's a director. So I want to know, yeah, what was Elizabeth Banks? I've worked with her as an actor, never as a director. What was her style of direction? And what did you take away from that into your next couple of projects?
It's interesting because she is already such a well-known actor. She's not only a well-known director, but she is known, she is famous. But she is so cool.
Yeah.
And because she's an actress, and also I think the biggest thing I've learned, I don't think she's the first female director I've worked with, definitely not. But she was, I think, the longest time I had with a female director on a project because I was there for 2 months in Ireland shooting during COVID. And she is just I know this is so cheesy, but she's such a boss. And it's so cool to watch somebody just be so good at putting all the pieces together and also be kind in directions and very easy to it was just easy to understand her language. There wasn't like, what? I don't understand what you want. There was none of that. It felt very straightforward for me. So that was really cool. Working on green screen is really funny.
That was yeah. So you've got nothing to work off of but your own brilliant imagination. Any tips? What did you learn by watching other people? Or because it's a great film, but what was your guys' budget? It was 35 million. I thought it was less than that. For some reason, I thought it was like 5 million. And then it just blew up into this. No, 35 million is decent. You got time. You got a lot of time in front of that green screen to like really work it out.
Oh, yeah.
Versus running and gunning where you're like, one take, let's keep moving.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, we had some time. And yeah, and they did a really great job putting it all together. And I think the bear was pretty expensive.
Very expensive. It might have been 5 million just for the bear.
Probably, yeah.
Just for the bear.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk series reg. Let's talk first audition for this. Was it also self-tape?
It was a self-tape. It was actually I look of this time very fondly because it was like right after Cocaine Bear came out, and there were a couple of projects actually. So I auditioned for St. Denis Medical, and there was another NBC pilot that I auditioned for that they asked me to test. And I had an offer for a Comedy Central movie.
Cocaine Bear really flooded open the gates.
All at the same time. Granted, I had to audition for all of these. So it wasn't just like I was reading, I was doing the same process.
Okay, so that was gonna be, so are you just overly memorizing? Are you bringing in a different technique? I know everybody's listening. It's like, she went to Juilliard. She has other techniques than just memorizing. Grab at any of those. Like, what else are you integrating other than just learning the scene?
I think what I really tried to do is find moments that make it mine.
Great.
Like where I can be myself. NBC has always been like my dream. Like I used to live in, oh, I'm getting chills. I used to live in Studio City. And if you go on, I think the 304, is it 304 or not 101, but the other one,
the 134?
134, sorry, 134. And I lived in LA for 12 years. Can you believe it? 134, you can see the NBC sign. And I always used to shout, I'm going to be there one day, every single time. And I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I like watching Friends. I grew up watching Friends. That's how I learned English.
Yeah.
All of my favorite shows have been on NBC. And my first test, even though it didn't move forward, I was like, I'm going to be here. I know this is where I'm supposed to be, which is so cheesy. I'm not one of those.
Not cheesy at all. I think that's so many of the great stories. If we can see it, we can be it. If we believe it, so it is. I think that's really, and we just don't know the how. We can't collapse the timeline, but if the belief is there, it comes.
Yeah.
It comes at any, so I think it's grace, like not crazy. It's like by the grace of God, the grace of higher, our belief.
Yes.
Here comes St. Denis Medical. I really want to know this whole audition. Like when you got it and you're like, NBC, yep, I'm getting it. Did you have that?
Honestly, no, because I just was like, oh my God, this is such a good script. Like, I don't think I even clocked it at that point. I was just like, oh, this is such a great script. But also, it was, I think, during pilot season. And so I was doing like kind of tapes back to back. And it was like one of those characters that I was like, it can go so many different ways. It's so well written.
Yes.
In a way that I can see so many different types of people playing this role. And I wanted to obviously, and I saw myself very clearly, but it wasn't like, oh, she's Korean. Oh, she's, this and she's quirky. It wasn't like the normal type that I was like, I can play this in my sleep.
Uh-huh.
Well, here's a general thing. So I was like, okay, then I just have to make it my thing. So I remember I taped for it, and then
Which scenes did you have? Do you remember?
Yes, I had the scene where I humped the desk.
Okay, I was hoping that was it. Okay, I have to ask how you did it, because listen, when we used to have to go in the room and do provocative things, it was always interesting to be like, how are you going to handle this? Are you going to really go for it? What did you do in your tape? Did you go for it?
Oh, I humped the desk.
Yes.
I humped whatever thing was in front of me. It's so funny. To me, that was not even a challenge. I was like, I did that yesterday.
Yep, no problem.
No
Going
problem.
for it.
Thank you for my service. And
Truly, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yes. And if the tape goes out in the zeitgeist, you're like, at least if I can make somebody chuckle for the day, we won it. What
100%.
was the other, was it 2 or 3 scenes?
Yeah. And then I think the other one was with me and Allison, who plays Alex. I think
Friend of the pod. She did the podcast.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, I love her. I should listen to hers too. She's amazing. I'm actually seeing her after this.
Tell her I said hi.
I will. Binge watch reality TV.
Yes.
But yes, it was that scene, I think. And I don't know if there was one more, but that was, I think, the 2 scenes, at least what I taped originally, maybe more.
Was Allison already attached when you got the audition?
She might have been, but I didn't know that she was attached.
Because I sometimes think people can work in juxtaposition. So we're making it your own. You throw in this tape.
Yeah. And then I had another tape, the Comedy Central one. And then and then they kept asking me to tape for different roles. Like they were really trying to find me
On the Comedy Central one?
On the movie. And then I flew to Korea because Cocaine Bear was about to come out. And I think I was like, oh, like I want to meet production companies in Korea and stuff like that. So I was like visiting my family for 2 weeks, my parents, and they offered me the movie. And then I was like taping when I just got to Korea, this other NBC pilot came in that they asked me to tape for. And then they were like, hey, they want to test you. Oh, hey, they want to also have a callback for St. Denis Medical. And then after I had like a Zoom callback for that, they were like, we want to test you.
So did you have to come back? First, let me talk about the Zoom, because now Zooms are like the hot ticket too. How was the Zoom? Was it chemistry or just producers and everybody? Yes.
It was at 8 a.m. in Korea. Mom is at work. My mom works, she's actually in the medical field, so she's a psychologist. So she was at work. My dad is a law professor, and it was his break. My dad could not give a shit about what I do in my day. It's lunchtime. When are we going to lunch? And it's dinner time. When are we going to go to dinner together? We go to lunch every day together because I stay home and it's the duty of a daughter. I told my dad multiple times, Dad, I'm having a callback session. Please don't come into the room. Please don't come into the room. It's 8 a.m. Like, please I can't lock the door from inside. I literally turn on the Zoom. Susie, who's our amazing casting director, who also tested me for a different, so it all comes back. Susie tested me for a different pilot years ago called Dr. Ken.
Yes.
She knew me. So we're meeting on Zoom, literally about to start. Dad comes in. When are we having lunch? And I am just so mortified. And I literally had to be like, Dad, like in Korean, Dad, please leave the room, please. Like, I'm auditioning. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, he does not care. Takes his time leaving the room. All on tape somewhere, by the way. And that was my first impression.
Was it producers too? Was it like a room full of, you know what I love about this? You even said, I wanted to bring more of me to this role. What else your dad helped you. There's nothing more you in that moment than them getting to witness you. That's why I like doing Zooms now versus self-tapes, because we get copy accidents that allow them to see who we are versus these perfected, amazing self-tapes.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And that might have been the winning ticket, that they got to see you really. Because did you do anything else different in your Zoom audition?
I got notes and I took the notes. And actually, I think this is what happened. I left the Zoom, and after like maybe 30 minutes, they called me back because they wanted to give me a different note.
Wait, were you already out to lunch with your dad? You hadn't left?
We were about to. We were literally about to. And it was so funny. I was like wearing my mom's, oh my God, I can't believe I work in a medical show and I don't know.
Oh, Scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scrubs. I was wearing my mom's scrubs, took it out, took it off and was about to leave and put that back on and jumped on Zoom and did it again.
What was their callback note for you? They're like, hold on, let me see if she can do this.
I think it was to make it more, bring it down more, I think was the note, to make it more like not like real.
Like the grounded comedy
Yeah,
that
the
they want
grounded.
everything. They're like grounded comedy. You're like, what exactly does that mean now? It's such an open-ended term,
Yeah.
especially on a pilot where you're like tonally you're figuring out where they are sitting right now. You don't know.
Yeah. And I'm one of those actors. I love getting notes. I love it. I think that is one of you were asking like how do I prepare for auditions? I do my job obviously like memorizing, but I think where I thrive as an actor personally, like my strong suit is getting notes and like really getting directions. I love getting directions. I love working with directors who are active note givers. Obviously, I come in with like my own idea, but I just like the collaboration process a lot.
Yeah, me too. I like I miss going in the room so we could have a work session. I
Yeah.
used to treat, but now when we're in self-tape, unless you're doing Zoom, there's not much of a work session to happen
Yeah.
unless you're getting to talk to casting, unless you're getting all this extra communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a void for us. I also love you learn a lot from self-tapes as well. Like you have to do it all at home. You have to throw it all out there. But there is something getting to really collaborate. Your creativity can really flourish.
Yeah.
What a
100%.
great experience. Okay, so then, since we know that you're getting multiple offers in the same time, are they able to work everything out for you to do everything? Or what's the decision making? What comes in first? Because that's the business side that sometimes we don't get to talk about before. Like actors find themselves in this position without having somebody to poke on the shoulder and be like, wait, hold on, what decision did you make? Because I've
Yeah.
had a couple of those turns and I wish I could go back and make them differently.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously made the right choice.
You made the right choice. Yes.
I think about that quite often because I'm like, oh, I just really, truly, and I really hate being that cheesy actor, but I love my job so much.
It's a great job. You
It's
guys landed in a good space. Yeah.
I such a not only creatively is it fulfilling, but people are so kind on our show. It's scripts are every week we do a table read. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I can't wait to say the lines.
Yes.
And I can't wait to go on set. It's not just, oh, I make money and I get to be a serious regular on a show. I think it is actually a lot rarer to be on a job where you're like everything kind of lines up.
And have it go more than one season because it's usually like everybody gets along. Oh, the material is really good and you're canceled.
Yeah,
Thanks for playing.
exactly.
Mhm.
To be like, oh, the show has its longevity and because
Yeah.
and I feel that way obviously because I'm making it and I'm having a blast. And I'm just so grateful that the audience are watching it and they feel the same way. That's always a really fun place to be at.
Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see you come into work and you're like, what's Wendy going to do today? What's Allison
Oh,
going to do today? You're getting to watch incredible. Like you also have David Allen Greer. There's so many, Josh Lawson, love. Like I could just eat craft services and watch what everybody's doing for the day.
basically what I do. Like every interview, they're like, who's at craft service the most? Me.
Great. Okay. I was getting ready to go into our rapid fire questions. Craft services. What do you grab? What are you grabbing? What's
Oh,
your go-to?
deviled eggs.
Oh,
Deviled eggs.
deviled
Love
eggs.
the
Look
deviled
at
eggs.
you guys pulling in some yummies. Okay, most memorable first day experience, because you've gotten to visit a lot of sets too as a guest star, which I always say it's always fun to be a guest in somebody's house. But most memorable first day experience. Which job was it?
Austin Alley, probably.
Really? Okay, tell me more. Why?
Because it was like the first job, one of the first jobs that I felt like they were really like excited to have me. Like, yeah.
That feels good.
And I could feel that from up to down, because what happened was basically after I did Austin Alley, I booked a pilot with Disney. And I was not young. I was an old woman playing little high school girls. But I booked a pilot and I didn't end up shooting the pilot after doing the table read, one of those. But after that, I booked Freaky Friday. So there were people from Disney that remembered me, that was a fan of me, which was really kind. Or at least I left an impression enough for them to hire me.
You planted a seed and that flower bloomed. We never know how the flower is going to bloom, where the petals are going to go. But yeah, look at that. Look at that plant.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. In between setups, especially on St. Denis Medical, what are you guys doing?
Mecky and I are at Crafty.
It's all going to come back to practice. To Crafty.
We do nothing but shoot the shit and go to Crafty.
Favorite actor you've learned from?
Ooh, Margot Martindale. What an icon.
What did you learn from her? What a queen.
She is just herself.
100%.
I was a big fan of her. Obviously, she's done so many multiple things, but I was a big fan of her because she's a big theater girly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like fawning over her. But yeah, she's just herself. Her and also like Ian McShane.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Never really worked with him directly, like scene to scene, but I've seen him work. And I think there's something with older actors who've been doing it for a while. It's part of their lives.
Yeah.
It's not like this precious thing, even though there are some great things that come in really crafting our skills. It just comes naturally. And then
they've been practicing a lot. They can hit free throw after free throw because they've just they've just been doing it.
100%.
Doing it. Okay, when you get an audition, who's the first person you call?
Oh, I don't call anybody. I don't tell anybody.
You don't tell. Okay, when you have to do a self-tape, who's your person?
Either I ask my boyfriend or Holly, shout out. She has a self-tape studio in Sherman Oaks.
Wonderful.
Who's now a friend of mine, but she's great.
When you book the job, who do you call?
Nobody.
You don't call anybody?
Call anybody until my mom found out I was shooting Cocaine Bear, because she was like, why are you in Ireland?
Okay. So one of the next question is, how do you celebrate? So are you not somebody that celebrates till it comes out? Are you not a celebratory person?
I don't celebrate.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's a very conscious choice. Like, it's a very conscious choice of mine.
Tell me more.
For a while, there were so many up and downs because I care about my job so much and I love what I do so much that I realized if I celebrated when I booked it, that mean the down was so big.
Yeah.
When I didn't. So what I do is when I book it, I tell people, like, now I'm a little bit better at telling my boyfriend who lives with me.
I'm going to be gone for 3 months. I'll be in Ireland.
To plan our future. But I maybe we'll go out to dinner, if anything, but I try to keep it as, it's an everyday life. It's just work, even though it doesn't, yes. I know deep down.
It's just work. Yes. Yeah. I think that's when it starts. Yeah. When we stop keeping it like an unreachable thing or a celebratory thing. Yeah. How do you recover either when you don't get the job or after doing an intense job? I actually want to ask that as a two-hander. The Fire Island, the first job, that was quite taxing. And then how did you recover from that? Or any other job that's been quite taxing? We don't talk about that enough as actors. Recovery process.
I love staying home. I'm a homebody.
Yep.
You know what recently I've been doing? I watch my own show.
And what are you discovering? Okay, are you able to like full on watch yourself?
I love watching my show. I think it's so fun.
It is.
It's also such a like feel good show. Like, I know
Okay.
that's the promo that they do, but it's very true. Is that it used to be like Friends. I used to watch Friends over
Mhm.
and over again. And now that I'm on NBC, I'm like,
I think that's a really good comparison of how you feel when you watch the show. It's very
yeah.
similar to how you felt with Friends. I think that's such a beautiful description. How does it hit as hard when you don't get the jobs that you've really attached to or gone the distance and test it? Is there a recovery process that you allow yourself to have for the ones that feel like they slipped away?
I think the down isn't as big anymore. I think
Yeah.
I've also like really accepted the belief that if it's mine, it'll come.
Great. Okay. Two more questions. Funniest way you've gotten a job?
Oh my God, what a great question.
Because once we've been working for a while, I do think there's a couple of times, like I did have the 7-Eleven guy came up to me and was like, I want you to be in my movie. I'm like, yeah, sure. You do. I was not kind about it. Come to find out, no, it was a $25 million movie and I
Shut
just spit the bill for what he was looking for and he could not find it and could not find it and could not find it. I was like, that only happens in the movies.
What?
Yes, yes. Sometimes you just like it. Sometimes Bonnie Hunt told me a story how she got a job. She got in a car accident. They ripped her car door, got ripped off, and she had to cry in the audition. And the whole like the for a week straight, she was so nervous about it. And when she got there, she was so upset that she just cried through the whole audition. So her accident is like what got her the
Oh
job.
God.
She went to the audition with no car door.
That is so.
We get our jobs sometimes in a funny way. So is there any
Oh my God.
funny landings?
Oh, okay. One of my first jobs, I was reached out on Facebook to coach Korean on a movie by a line producer, just out of nowhere. This is like maybe a year out of school, this is actually my first job, I think, in TV and film. And I was like, oh, okay. And I talked to my manager. He was like, I guess you can charge like $100 an hour or something. Like, I don't know. It was a movie with Chris Evans and Michelle Monaghan. And had no idea who they were. I grew up in Korea, never did not know who was
Oh,
Captain America, never watched Marvel. And one of the first things the line producer asked me was, hey, can you meet the actor at this motel? I don't know why he said motel. It was definitely not a motel. It was a hotel in West Hollywood. But it was a
big
nice hotel.
difference.
Yeah, very big difference. And I coached Chris Evans and then speak Korean. And then I went to Michelle's house and coached her. And then I ended up being in the movie because Michelle was like so kind and was
She's the
like,
best.
she's the best. And she was like, I don't know, even know if she remembers me, but she was like, there's a small speaking Korean speaking role, and it was supposed to be like a background role, but she was like, it was going to be featured now because it had a Korean dialogue. And she was like, she should play it. We shouldn't just use some Asian actor to learn a Korean. She speaks Korean and she's an actor. She should do it.
God bless her. I
God
love
bless
her.
her.
Episode 50. Go listen to hers.
Oh,
Hers.
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was one of the best ones. Okay, what's the one thing you've done that you wish more people would see or would have seen?
Ooh. I did this play of Jeremy O'Hara's called Daddy in New York with Alan Cumming and Tommy Dorfman and Hari Neff. And it was such a fun play. And a lot of people saw it. It was a sold out show during the whole run, but it's just always sad. I'm thinking
It's
about it.
sad with the beautiful plays that we can't encapsulate them. Sure, yeah, they have them on some of them on YouTube now, but it's like you don't get to just go revisit that piece of work. Okay, final question. What's the one role that's on television, film, or even on Broadway right now that you wish you could steal? Just be like, I'll go ahead and take that right now.
Oh, that's hard. Ooh.
It could also just be the job that you have because it's great. And since you're watching it, I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah, I gotta stick it. I got the job that I
Just stick in
want.
the landing.
Yeah.
You got it. This was such a joy. Thank you for letting me like pick in, and I know I'm like, but tell me some more, but tell me some more. Because think about every actor that is listening to this. They take what they want, they leave the rest. You get to sit in the mentor seat and give parts of your journey that gives somebody a lot of hope to keep going. So not only do you get to do that on screen, you got to do that today. Where can everybody follow along? And like, you've got a lot of things rolling out. So let us know all of the things that we need to be watching.
Season 2, we still have episodes left, and there's some big things happening for Serena. So that, and I have a movie coming out, I think next Christmas that I just shot.
Yeah, the 12 Dates of Christmas. That's coming up this Christmas, 2026.
I think so. That's the plan.
Probably, yeah. I would assume. We could assume that.
Yeah. And then we're shooting season 3 soon, so I'm excited.
Yay. And where can everybody follow along with you? Are you on Instagram?
Instagram. Yeah.
What's your handle, babe?
Kahyun Kim 257.
Kahyun Kim 257. 257. What's up with
I know. It means nothing. I know. People ask me all the time. It's my lucky number.
Great. It's good numbers all around. This was lovely.